So I can guarantee you now that by the time I end this video, this segment on a documentary, I'm probably going to lose friends. But it's okay because I'm helping to empower young women. And sometimes when you bring up your past, it exposes other people's past as well. And that's a hard thing to do. But I feel compelled to do this. I feel like this is going to help young women that are trying to find themselves, or older women that are trapped in relationships that are unhealthy for them. This is what this whole documentary, this whole process has been for. So I'm going to share my truth. I want to start from the beginning. So at the age of 4, I was molested by my stepfather. My mother had just recently converted from Muslim, the Nation of Islam, to Christianity. So her life changed, and that was right after they got married. And she began to go to church. She began to, just spend time away from home because she was in the church, and that was her newfound joy. And she did that, and I was always at home with him, this guy who was not my father, but he was my stepfather, and I believe she trusted him. So she left me at home a lot, and things progressed from there. I can remember my stepfather was an alcoholic. He would get drunk and he would beat my mom, and she just held on to her faith, but it was a toxic situation. And in that time, she was here by herself in Detroit. She had two sisters that were here, but my mother was always a loner, and so here this man is who was younger than her. He was attractive, they got married, and I guess she felt like, oh, here's this guy that wants me, and she was married to this guy, but he in turns was really a monster. I can remember just being on top of this guy, and he was basically forcing himself upon me. And I can remember getting away from him and falling on the side of the bed, and he was trying to grab me. And I remember what I had on. And that's really significant because I blocked the molestation out until I was 10 years old. And I so happened to find a picture of me when I was a child at 10. And those memories came flooding back because I remember what I had on. And so I saw what I had on, and that triggered the memories of me being molested, because he basically molested me, raped me on picture day. And I remember having that outfit on for picture day. And so I began to tell my mom what happened, and I could see her becoming irate and becoming just beside herself. And as a young child, you don't want to see your mom like that. So I told her, I think I might have just drank it, or I just drank it. I don't, it didn't happen, And after that, we never talked about it again. So I carried that because I didn't want my mom to be upset. I didn't want to be away from her. I didn't want them to take me away from her. And we basically never talked about it again. So that happened. I didn't see this guy again. My mom actually left him because he was very abusive. I can remember She picking me up while he was sleeping. We just racing out of the house. And I left my teddy bear in the bedroom, and I said, I need to go get Erica. And she just kept going, you know. And so we never saw him again until I was like 13. And that was one of the most scariest moments in my life. One day I came home from school, and I was walking in the house, and it was like eerily quiet. It's just like quiet. For some reason, you know, I just knew something wasn't right. So I walked in the house, and he was there. And I was like, you know, where's my mom? And my mom wasn't in the house. And I just locked myself in the bathroom until she came home. And then right at that moment, it was like divine intervention. My mother ran into my real father, and I stayed the summer there at my real father's house, which I always was just like, you know, it was like I hadn't seen my father until I was, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7. And I immediately ran up to him, which angered my mom. But I loved my father, you know. From that point on, I loved my father. And, spent the summer there, which I thought, you know, this is something new. I have a whole family. I have siblings over here. This is great. I'm going to be protected. I have my dad, you know. I'm validated because I have people that are related to me that look like me, you know, and here I have a family, which, even though you can be in a group, be in a large family, you still can be vulnerable, and you still cannot be safe, you know. And so that summer, a neighbor molested me. And this neighbor was a woman. And it was just like it's something I was familiar with because it had happened to me before, you know. So I just knew this is something that you don't say. This happens, and you don't say it, you know. And it just happened. And then after that, I became more aware of myself, more aware that, you know, oh, I should look pretty. I want to be pretty, and I want attention, and, you know. And then I became promiscuous that summer, and started dating, having boyfriends, having sex, you know, unprotected sex, and just thought that was what love was, having sex. I just thought that represented love, you know, and that kind of set my course for that particular time. So after the summer, I went home back to my mom, and again, my father dropped me off, and I walked into the house, and again, it was like quiet. And I knew my mom wasn't in the house, and there was my stepdad passed out drunk. And I knew instinctively just to back up and walk out of the house. And as I was walking down out of the house, my mom motioned. She was down the street at a neighbor's house. She motioned me to come down, and I ran down. And my stepfather had beat my mom because he was upset I was at my father's house, and he beat my mother. And after that, we had to run. We left there and lived with a friend for a while, and we did that for a while. We stayed until she can get on her own, and we just made a way. You know, and she was so protective of me, you know, but some things get past mothers because they are looking for something special, especially single mothers. I'm not saying this is in all case, but I'm just saying this is what happened in my case. And so they seek validation, or they seek a connection to somebody just to get through life, just to be able to attach yourself to something, to lean a friendship. And so that's what my mother did. She was strong. My mother was very strong. But she didn't have a lot of friends, but she did have some that she just held dear to her. And so that draws me to one last incident where I was taken advantage of. And it's a very hard thing, because I found out after my mom's death, and I don't even know if I should share this, but I found out that a close loved one of mine experienced the same thing. So my mom would visit her best friend, and quite frequently, because they stayed in the same neighborhood. They were pregnant at the same time. They just shared everything together. That was her rock. She had two best friends. And one of them, they clubbed together. They went through life together. They transitioned, to the faith together. So she would frequent the house a lot. And I can remember as a little girl going over there and just being mesmerized by the house, because it was always clean. And everything was nice, and it was so different than how we lived. And they had cable. You could sit and watch cable while they talk. And they do their girls talk, and drink coffee and all that stuff. And so there came a time where I began to spend the night over there. And I would spend the night. And this one particular night, I spent the night, and I had to share a bed with my god sister. And I was taken advantage of. And I was a child, so I thought that she wanted me to do this, so I'm supposed to do this. And she validated it and said, hey, do this because so-and-so does this, so it must be all right. So I did that. That happened to me. And it's something that stayed with me. And even though that happened to me, I was able to, as a grown woman, go back to that house and just embrace the woman, to let her know, I forgive you. I didn't say it verbally, but she knew what I meant. That was a hard thing to do. And so I moved past it, and I began to feel forgiveness for this woman. And I began to, my mom would minister and labor with her because she had issues of her own, not knowing what she did to her own child. And I did that up until a couple of months ago, when I found out that this individual brother did the same thing to a dear family member of mine. So every time I pass that house, I got to pass it sometime. It's like I call it the house of horrors. So I'm just sharing this because I know millions of women have went through the same thing. And it's like almost a foundation of who we become if we let it. If we let it, it can mold who you are as an individual. But thank God I didn't allow that to happen, So, who is Playling? I am Uh, the girl who grew up in Detroit, on the north end of Detroit, with the killers, gang members, the prostitutes, the drug addicts who were your God, your family. You call them family, they'll steal you. They'll steal your stuff, quick, Um, grew up poor, in poverty. Um, just had a lot of obstacles in life, but I always seemed to see the great things in life. I always had an imagination. I always loved to be creative. You know what I'm saying? I loved the arts, and I always saw and dreamed about what could be. And so I had it rough. I really had it rough. Didn't wear the best clothes, didn't look the best. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't do this, couldn't do that. So you improvised, right? You did what you could. I always wanted affection and love. Always was a hard lover. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted to, even as a child, just wanted to be accepted by everybody, and wanted to be one of the cool kids. And I want to be your friend. That type of person. I'll do this. Yeah, you want me to do this? I never forget. I had a moment where I was at church, and I wanted to be friends. I wanted to be in the in crowd. And my cousin, they had bought me a Coach bag, and I wore it to church. And I got a Coach bag, whatever. And one of the girls was like, "Hey, Clayton," got real cool with me. "Hey, girl, how you doing?" And oh, let's exchange purses, and then we'll come back and we'll exchange them back. Of course, I never got my purse back, but I did it because I wanted to be a friend, right? So I was real naive, just wanted to be somebody's friend. That I just always been like that, just giving, and just I have gotten a lot of been taken advantage of a lot. But we don't use that as an excuse to who you are as a grown person. You know what I'm saying? But that has happened. I never forget, a lady walked up to me in church with her child. I was a child myself, and said, "You'll never be like her. You'll never be a bum like Clay Lane." And that stuck with me. Like, what kind of individual, what kind of an adult will say that to a child, and that's why I am the way I am today, because of things that just have happened to me in my life. And that's how everybody is. We take things that have affected them, and we try to affect it yourself, and you try to make the best outcome, right? So I grew up on the north end. I've seen the prostitutes get beat by the pimps. I've seen a drug addict overdose. I've seen murder. I've seen it all. I have seen it all, and so I mimic what I saw. And I thought it was cool to date the drug dealer, and did. A couple of drug dealers. I thought it was cool to hold drugs. I held drugs. I held raw. You know what I'm saying? Because I was part of the scene. You know what I'm saying? Didn't know I was in danger. I walked into my house, and a dope man was in my house looking for me. And a lot of people don't know that about me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that happened. I have seen it all. And so when I grew up, I knew I didn't want to be in poverty. You know what I'm saying? I knew I didn't want to rough it like I had. I knew that much. You know what I'm saying? I knew I wanted to do something and be creative. I wanted to be doing that. I knew that. Knew I was going to get married and have children and just have a man that loved me. I knew that, because that has to happen, right? Because because we're in America, right? Everybody gets married and have that white picket fence, right? So I just knew that was going to be my future. Little did I know that I'll be 45 years old without a divorce, a divorcee, you know what I'm saying? And it seems like love has just eluded me. Okay, so let's talk about boyfriends. I've had my share. No, I'm just playing. Boyfriends. Okay, so one of the signs that and I'm sorry, this is raw. This is me doing everything on my own. But this is gonna be a blessing. First boyfriend, I was in kindergarten. Carl. Oh, I'm not gonna say his name. Not gonna say his name, but I loved him. right? I loved him. He was cute. Oh my God, he was so cute. And I loved him. I was in love with him. And I can remember one day he wasn't there anymore, right? And I'm like, where did he go? And everybody's like, oh, his family moved. And I was devastated. I was a devastated kindergartner. I was devastated that he wasn't there no more. And I can remember being very, very sad about that. So that was my first little lost thing. But guess what? I remember that. And it stayed with me. And I asked myself why. Because as women, we don't want to be abandoned. We don't want to be rejected. So we do everything in our power to keep in that mode of someone being in our life. All right. And so I didn't have a father. You know what I'm saying? My mother was too busy trying to survive and provide for us. There was no male figure in our neighborhood. There was a woman figure, Miss Bennett, who her focus was having a healthy, mentally healthy, stable, productive neighborhood. And so that was her drive. We didn't have classes telling us about women empowerment. If we did, I wasn't a part of it, didn't know anything about it. So you just learned how to survive and learn how to be by what you saw in front of you, right? No one ever told me I was beautiful. No one ever told me I was pretty. No one ever told me, hey, you don't got to settle for that. You ain't got to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I just was doing it to fit in. Whatever I can do to blend in. Whatever I can do. Whatever. That's what I was doing, right? So went to Northern High School. Jayhawks. Woohoo. You know, and I started dating guys, you know. And my first drug dealer boyfriend actually was my first year in high school. You know, he sold dope for my brother. And he had the cars and, you know, and money, and I feel hard for this dude. I really did, you know, the teenage love, of course. And we was in a relationship for like 2 years, and well, the summer and then that year. And then he basically cheated on me right in front of my face. That sounds horrible, right? Like, you so stupid, you so gullible, girl. I pretended to be asleep. And there he was with another girl in my brother's house. And I act like I didn't see it. Because, you know what? I didn't want to be without a boyfriend. I didn't want to lose him. Right? And we continued to date even after that. And I never said anything. And the girl, and here's where the complex come in. The girl was light-skinned, pretty. And I'm thinking, I don't look like her, and that's why he doesn't want me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to dare say anything to him, because then he'll really go and be with her, right? So the joke was on me, right? And so that started training me how to be, right, ladies? That if you be honest with yourself, I was young, and that just trained me how to accept bad behavior. And that's what I did until sophomore year. So sophomore year, I met a football player. And this guy, you could just look at him and say, straight up killer. But he was a teddy bear to me, but you better not mess with me. You know what I'm saying? And he was very popular in high school. And yeah, we did not have a problem with being promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm sharing this, because I'm trying to paint a picture. I'm trying to paint a picture, and I'm trying to show you how you can mold and be a certain way from youth all the way up to womanhood, and then you wonder why things not working out in your life. You know, so, you know, we were that, and we dated all through high school, You know, we dated all through high school, just about, because he was a year ahead of me. He went to high school, he went to college. Then, of course, things changed. I thought he was the one. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I started my junior year. I started going to church, and my pastor said, "Hey, he's not the one." And I'm like, "How does she even know I'm dating somebody?" You know what I'm saying? And I called them, which I should not have done that, because I abruptly did it, and I was a child, and that's a lot. I mean, well, I had to be a little bit. No, actually, it was close to the end. I was still in high school, or maybe a year after high school, or whatever. I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure, but um, basically told him, broke up with him because my pastor said he wasn't the one. Now, doesn't that sound crazy, right? And that actually affected him for a while, because he actually had feelings for me, and then to this day, he's a good, awesome guy. He has a wonderful story and how he became successful, and I regret to this day uh, doing that to him, because I regret it, because he's actually good. He's a wonderful guy, wonderful, wonderful guy. So yeah, that happened, and so now I'm at the point in my life where I've had one serious relationship, and I'm coming into adulthood, and I find the individual who I feel I felt and feel we battle with it, you know, was the love of my life. And this part may be a little bit touchy, so I'm going to try to be as discreet, because you want to protect people's privacy. And I'm not here to drag anybody in and do a pity party and say, "Oh, look what they did to me." No, that's not what we're doing. And there were circumstances around everything. And there's always circumstances, that dictate things in our life. So, um, met the boy, the man that I just fell totally in love with. Um, we were in church, and I met him. He was quite a bit younger than me, and had a lot of obstacles, because that was age was an issue, and the fact that he came from a family, a tightly knit family, and here I am, this you know dark skinned big fat girl, you know trying to take this their son, not take, but that's the way it was made. That's the way I felt, and to this day, me and his family we have a good, awesome relationship. I consider them my mom and dad. I call them mom and dad, because these individuals have been essential in my life, but we've had our rough patches, you know. I met this guy, and I never forget. I seen him. He was speaking. He had a speech or speaking at church, and I said, "I'm gonna kiss him." And I did. I kissed him right after Sunday school, and we started talking on the phone. And as he got older, and as we got older, things developed, and we started to date. I felt like I had like 1,000 darts behind my back, because here I am. I just wanted to tell everybody, no, I really do love him. I'm not infatuated with him. I'm not trying to trap him because I was older. I honestly do love him, and I felt so much love. It was like my heart was on the outside beating. It was like I would do anything for this individual. I loved him. I loved the ground he walked on, and I totally lost myself in the relationship, lost my identity, lost who I was in the relationship. And the breakup was tragic for me, because my whole world crumbled. My whole world crumbled, and I was no longer the same individual, because now I'm living with this hurt. And so my message is to women: it's okay to love. It's okay to love hard. It's okay to invest in people. It's okay to build people. It's okay to make mistakes with people. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if you the cause of the problem to admit. You know what I'm saying? Or work on it. Excuse me. But it's not okay to lose your identity. It is not okay to make excuses for things that just is not right. You know, I had a comment made that her hair is not long enough to be with him. She's too dark to be with him. And over my dead body will she be with him. When I heard that, I was so hurt because I'm thinking all I'm doing is loving him. All I'm doing is loving him. That's all I'm doing. It's loving him. You know? It's hard when you love someone and you feel like that's not being seen. Just see me for who I am. Just see me for who I am. Just see me for the beauty. Just see me for how much I love you. You know? And I know that he loved me. I know that he loved me. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you got so much outward force, it's like I'd rather just take the out and to continue to go through this. And I went through in my church because we were Pentecostal and we didn't believe in having premarital sex. That's just what this is called, what it was. And I did a lot of that with him. So I got reprimanded a lot. You know, I got sat down and a lot because I was a young minister at this time. You know, and I got sat down for what I did. And it was an embarrassment. And not only was it an embarrassment, it was like, I ain't fooling with her. She's just a whore. You know what I'm saying? She's easy. I can get whenever I want. But you didn't see that I did that because I loved you. I share my body with you because I loved you. You know, and I don't want to. This ain't no badge because to this day, I'll take 10,000 bullets for him. You know what I'm saying? It's just that he was young. He was young, and you respond the way you think you're supposed to respond. When you're impressionable, you respond, and this may not go over well. And I'm not trying to create no friction. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling my truth, my truth. And out of that relationship, all I wanted people to see was that I'm here to love and protect and build with this individual. That's all I wanted people to see, that I honestly love this person. I'm not going to hurt them. I'm not going to, that. And so you go through all of that. So that ended. And out of that, I came severely depressed because we dated for like close to 8 years. And it just ended on a situation where I was told don't call me no more. You thinking I done went through hell and back. And it was like, don't call me no more. And that stuck with me, like, because in my naive mind, I'm thinking if you love a person real good, then they'll see you for who you are and they'll love you back. And it was like, no, don't call me no more. I was distraught. My world was over for a long time. My world was over for a long time. And then I met my husband. And he came in and did everything right. So here I am at a place where I didn't think I was going to ever be. I knew who I was going to be with. I knew what was going to happen. And that was it. So what do you do when you're at a place and nothing that you plan go right? You know, nothing that you plan go right, and you in a place where, oh my God, I'm alone. I'm out here surviving. I was out of my mom's house and I was in a studio apartment. Was it studio? Yeah, studio apartment. Just trying to make it. Didn't have no stove. Was cooking on a George Foreman, you know, and was surviving, working, trying not to go back home. That's what I was doing. Then lost my love, and here come this guy. And he did everything right. He said everything right. He did everything right and was right. I will not take that away from him. That he did everything right. And he loved on me and nurtured me. And he just came through. You know what I'm saying? And we dated for 4 years first. And I'm like, when you gonna marry me? I'm out here sinning. When you gonna marry me? He was like, it's coming. Theater near you. He will always say, theater near you. And I'm like, no, you need to marry me. When you gonna marry me? 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 So he married me. Yeah, I got married. And I felt 2 different ways. One, I was like, I'm somebody's wife. And I know I'm supposed to cater to this man. I'm supposed to cook. I'm supposed to do whatever he want me to do. I'm supposed to act the way he want me to act because this is my husband and he is the head. And then the second feeling, I felt lonely and by myself because I was totally, what do you call that? I was totally excommunicated from my church. How about that? They kicked me smooth out. Like, no ma'am. And it was because I had did something that was contrary to our faith. And I was in agreement with it. I knew that I was wrong. And don't start bashing the church saying, oh, they shouldn't have did that. At least you married, at least you ain't say no. If you sign up to say you're gonna do this, blah, 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 you break those rules and there's consequences. And I knew I was wrong. I'm good with it. And then my pastor made the right decision. I supported 100%. But I fought my way back because I'm like, I got to get back into the church. So, yeah. So we started out. I was married, and I did first couple of years I did what I thought was right. You know what I'm saying? Until I started noticing some things. And I want to say first, my husband provided for me. Not one time was we hungry. Not one time were we homeless. Not one time did this man not work. Okay, I suffered a major illness and he was there for me. I'm never going to bash him on that. He was a wonderful provider. But at that point, I already knew how to provide women. I'm talking to the women. Sometimes you cannot get caught up on what a man can do for you. Financially, sometimes you need a man to nurture you and love you and respect you. And that wasn't taking place. My ex-husband is a wonderful guy. I'm going to say that. I'm not bashing him at all. I'm just sharing you my experiences and what to settle for, not settle, but what to stand for and what not to stand for. This may be for a woman that's going through this right now. This is why I'm sharing this story. I'm not sharing this to bash him at all. There has been instances where I was told, I don't care about your feelings in my marriage. There has been instances where I was told, you don't know how blessed you are to have me. And I was not nurtured. I was not there. We grew apart where he spent most of his time with his family. And I was just at home waiting on him. The moment where I knew it was over, and this will be the one thing that I'll share, was I asked him, what can I do to make you happy? Because in my mind, it was something that I was doing. It was something that I was doing that caused him not to come home. It was something that I was doing that caused him to lust after other women. It was something that I was doing that caused him to do what he was into everything but me. That's how I felt. So I asked him, what can I do to make you happy? And he told me, give me head, buy me stuff, and cook for me. And in that moment, I knew I had to make a decision. Are you going to conform and stay? Or are you going to be empowered and leave? And so I chose to leave. So I went through a divorce. And it literally took me 2 weeks to get everything in motion. And one of my biggest regrets was my divorce. Oddly enough, oddly, because I didn't know you were supposed to fight for marriage. I didn't know that. I just felt if you felt disrespected and it was a deal breaker, then you leave. You don't fight for it. So I didn't fight for it. And I lived with that. And I left, didn't move far. Like I'm literally right upstairs. He's downstairs. I'm upstairs in an apartment. He lives downstairs on the first floor, and I'm on the fourth floor. Because the area is nice. Don't knock it, And he's still there for me, If I need something, he's there. He's, like I say, he's a wonderful person. It's just that some things we could not agree on, and that was deal breakers, right? So here I am, a divorced woman, in my 40s, and just trying to figure things out. And so I re-engaged and in trying to rekindle things, or just branching out and trying to have relationships. And again, here I go reverting back to just accepting anything, accepting whatever, because I wanted to be loved, because I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted someone to call me their girl. You know what I'm saying? So I accept whatever. I accept you being with somebody else and being with me. I accept you picking up the phone whenever you want to pick up the phone. I accept you telling me I'm not good enough. I accept, because I wanted, I just wanted to be in a relationship. And I equated sex with love. In doing that, I consequently became pregnant and suffered in a miscarriage. So that hit me hard and it kind of woke me up, because out of everything in life, I always wanted to be a mother. And because I've had issues, I could not conceive. And so I thought I couldn't have children. So when I got pregnant, I said, this will be something that I can love. This will be something that will love me back. And it'll be mine, and I can love it, and it won't hurt me because it'll be of me. And so when I lost that child, I didn't show it to the father of the child, but I was so hurt. I was so devastated. I was depressed, because I had lost something that I thought would bring me joy. And after that, I went through severe depression for a month. Didn't want to go to church, didn't want to go to work, didn't want to see nobody pregnant. Had an attitude every time somebody saying something about their baby, just went through it. And then here I am, 40-some years old, in a situation that I shouldn't be in, because I'm willing to accept anything, any type of exchange that may equate to something. And in your mind, you're thinking, I'll do this because maybe something will come out of this. Maybe they will see me for who I am and just and love me. You know what I'm saying? And it just didn't happen. So after my pregnancy, after my miscarriage, I I went through that. Then something woke up in me like, um, you can't continue to do this, right? You cannot continue to settle. And you can't blame the other person, you know, in a relationship. You can't do that because people only do what you allow them to do. And for the most part, I know this individual genuinely loves me. And he has said he's made things clear. But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh no. Oh no. He just don't know that I am good for him. He just can't see it now. So you begin to just accept. You want to come over? Sure. You know what I'm saying? Because I love you. You can come over. You ain't got to talk to me for the next 3 weeks after that. But you came over. So it must be something about it. That's where I was at. And I want to tell my young ladies, don't settle for that. Don't allow yourself to be put in that situation. Know that you have value. Know that you are good enough to be committed to. Know that you are good enough to be loved genuinely. Know that you are good enough for someone to claim you. You know what I'm saying? Know that you are good enough. You are good enough. I had someone tell me, I'm trying to see if you're good enough for me. Which I think they said it and didn't even realize that they said it, because who says that to another person? You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, I'm thinking I've been in the trenches. I've bared my heart. I've poured my everything. I've loved you. I love you. I loved you on your good day, your bad day. I loved you when you treated me wrong. I loved you when you made me the laughing stock. I loved you when everybody's pointing their finger. I never wavered. But now you got to see if I'm good enough. That hurt me until I realized you cannot make people love you. You cannot force somebody to be with you. And for that, I will always be grateful for their honesty. But it caused me to look at myself in a different way. Like, you got to stop doing this. You have to empower yourself. So I began to empower myself. To tell myself you are worthy of somebody committing to you. To tell myself you are worthy of somebody loving you. You do have value. There's nothing wrong with you. Do not place your value, your time, your efforts into something that is temporal. Right? And so now I'm embarking on this new thing. You know, we embarked on something new where I'm not going to commit my body to something that is temporal. Do we have our days where it's hard? Absolutely. And you say, what does got to do with big love and being in a relationship? Because there's women all over the country that is giving their bodies to men for not just physical gratification, but emotional gratification and mental gratification, because they equate that with love. They equate sex with commitment. They equate sex with, oh, he liked me. And not just seeing it for what it is. And I had to see that. It hurt me to my heart to say no. But I had to do it. Because if not, I'll be a 60-year-old woman with the same issues. I decided that I wanted more for myself. You know what I'm saying? And it just had to be that way. But I get tested and tried because I want that companionship. I want that. And to this day, we're the best of friends. You know, I value our friendship. But you have to accept things for what it is. You know. And that's what you have to do. As women, we are told we have to be a certain way to please men, as if they are the greatest thing on the planet. As women, we are told you have to be submissive to your husband, which I'm an advocate for the man as being the head of the household. You know what I'm saying? But I need you to also be the nurturer of the household. I need you to be the protector of my heart. I need you to be the protector of my mind. I need you to respect me and love me and respect my opinion. But we in society we don't do that. The woman is supposed to just accept your bad behavior and be glad that you even got a man. That's what society tells us. I just shared a post on social media like this man telling this 40-year-old woman who's celibate that you should be giving it away. Why? Why is that? Why can't you be empowered and be celibate and wait on someone that thinks enough of you to commit? So I'm encouraging my women. This is what all of this is about. It's encouraging you that you don't have to give in. You don't have to settle for a one night stand. You ain't got to settle for an understanding. You are worth somebody committing to you and saying, I love you and I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life. You are that good. You are that valuable. And you are. But we diminish ourselves when we just keep giving pieces of ourselves in moments to individuals who ultimately could care less. Could ultimately shake you off in one conversation and don't be bothered with you forever. That's how much you mean to them. Meanwhile, you move in the world for them emotionally, and they could care less. So value yourself. Don't let a man come in your house and just do what they do and leave, and you don't hear from them, and they just treat you like a dirty rag. That's not love. That's usury. That's being taken advantage. We are women. We are givers of life. Life creates in us. We're unique. We are to be loved and respected and lifted up, in the eyes of our men that say they love us. We deserve that, But I see that society has degraded the woman to a pic on Instagram, a flick, a whore. But you are so much more than that. You don't have to show your body on social media to get attention. You don't have to show your body on Facebook to get money to survive. Something is broken in you that make you feel like you got to degrade yourself for anything or anyone. And my thing is, I want, if you get anything out of this documentary, I want you to understand that you have value, that you have worth. And it's somebody out there that's going to see that worth. And you don't have to degrade yourself. You don't have to stifle yourself. You don't have to settle for anything and wrong treatment. And you don't have to do that. You ain't got to settle for nobody calling you no whore, treating you like a whore, treating you like a continual one night stand on a loop. You are so much more than that. And I hope that my story and the stories of other people in this documentary in their relationships will help women across this country. You remember that you can only stop or allow things in your life that you want to stop and allow. You know what I'm saying? Your only failure is what you allow things to fall apart in your life. You can't, what I'm trying to say is you can stop, you know what I'm saying, that cycle of these one night stands and these hookups and being verbally abused and physically abused. You can stop that. All you have to do is empower yourself. Thank you. That's a wrap.